jump into it so everyone can go about their night. Um, probably maybe we'll have one more, but one of the last times we'll talk about draft stuff, guys. So take it
till
in.
next till next December.
Yeah. When Dak screws us and we lose in the first round of the playoffs again. But um we'll go ahead and we'll just, go through the picks, obviously, give our opinions, our thoughts on the picks, and if we have time, we'll go through the other questions. Um, but obviously, we'll start with Booker. You can tell your opinions, how you like it, and each one will give a grade, A to F, whatever you feel. Um, I'll go with Booker. Initially, I did not like the pick. Very upset, very pissed. I wanted a receiver. But then I started seeing the guy's highlights and listening to him talk. And he's a monster. I've grown to love it. I give it an A, only not an A plus because I wanted a receiver. But reality is A plus. But I love it. Love the pick. Fits a big need, so I'm happy with it.
Are you gonna go through the whole draft, or do you want we just go through each player?
No, we'll just kind of each go through them. We don't gotta rush anything.
Um, as you all know, I'm a huge offensive line. Dallas doesn't make mistakes on offensive linemen in the first round, I think. Um, I think I was I love his power, and he's at Alabama. Um, I was super excited. You guys, I and I will say this: the more I watched that, and not just because we didn't get him, but that T Mac receiver, I'm not sure he's going to be that dominant. I don't. He high points the ball, but I was watching his highlights, and I'm like, we might have dodged a bullet. Um, I love Tyler coming in and joining the three guys. I'm going to give it an A plus. So loved it.
Awesome.
Well, I think Travis cursed it
Yeah.
because he
You're
was
both.
manifesting offensive line this whole time.
He
And
was
you guys are
No.
with them.
he was in the church building on Thursday.
No, no, I've liked Tyler Booker like the whole time. In fact, he's just one of when all of the draft shows that I've watched, he's just one of those guys that stood out. I mean, I was almost even liking him more than the guy that went to the Jets. I know he's a tackle, but so I was super happy with it. I was like Peyton. I was still in a slight depression, and so I couldn't really like. It wasn't a sexy pick. Um, but the one thing that I will say is that because it does make a lot of sense with Zach going down. And I know that you guys like Hoffman a lot, and I like his attitude. But they were saying that Hoffman can play against teams like like the weenie teams, and he'll be fine. But he can't play against elite teams,
Mhm.
and he's just a good backup. And Tyler Booker is a plug and play.
Yeah.
He is not a oh let's see how he works out. Nope, he's plug and play.
Hmm.
So it's instant starter, and it's the wall of Tyler. You've seen all those
Yeah.
cool. So I like that. The only thing I have to say this: when he was running down the hallway, I was not liking how Femi he was running, and I was slightly disturbed by that. And I'm like, where is the monster? And so he looked like remember the tackle that came from that went to the Eagles a couple years ago, big guy from Georgia. He kind of looked the same thing. He's like prancing around like a little princess, and I'm like, what the heck? But that was the only thing that bothered me. His interviews was great. and he was saying like I like it to make it so that people don't like football because and I love that. And so his interviews were off the charts. And then he got a reaction from Micah Parsons, and Micah went crazy over his comments. So this guy, we're gonna love him. He's gonna be there in Dallas for 10 years. Complete stud. I'm still gonna go A minus because you don't pick guards that early in the draft, but he was the number one guard. So I'm gonna say A minus. But I mean, looking back now, I am very happy that we have a complete stud there. And I really don't know how we would have really functioned without this guy.
Yeah, for sure. The only thing that's upsetting me to the point of after, I'll just say this real quick. Everyone's all excited that we picked up Tyler Smith's fifth year option. Like that wasn't gonna happen. And I'm like, it's like, well, no, duh. If we were smart, what we should have done is extended Tyler Smith right now for 5 more years. So
Right.
that's just upsets me because if we could extend him right now, we would guarantee have BB, Tyler Guyton, Tyler Booker, and Tyler Smith for 4 years. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think we'll get him done either way, but it'd just be nice if we got it done now. But we'll move on to number two, Donovan Easy Rookie O Majigaba, whatever his name is. Um, okay. I'll put it this way. I like the pick. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm telling you, I have PTSD from second round picks. I can't get excited. I don't know why. I like the pick. I love the player. You know, he was in my top five defensive ends, you know, when I put my things together. I love the player. But for some reason I just can't get excited. I don't know why. Maybe it's because Mike Green was there and I got so excited about Mike Green and then we didn't get Mike Green. I'm not sure. I think he'll be good. I'm hoping he'll be amazing. I think there's a very good chance he'll be amazing. I don't know. I just can't get excited about him for some reason, but love the pick. Maybe it's because he's an Eagles fan. I hate that he was an Eagles fan. I hate it. If you're an Eagles fan, you have a mental issue. I'm convinced. But anyways, um, I like the pick. Obviously, I'm going to give it an A because of the player he is. I just personally am not as excited for whatever reason.
I think the only thing I don't like about that pick is that we can't pronounce his last name. Um, but I am thrilled with this pick. The only two things is I don't love his last name, and I don't love. I felt like Dallas had bigger needs um, at defensive tackle instead of defensive end, but value wise and character wise, Peyton and I talked about this earlier, David, that he was all upset about Green, and I'm like, he was accused of sexual assault in high school and in college, not just once, twice. So,
Yeah.
um, I think Green may be a better talent, but this guy is close to that talent, and he's a great person, which is even better. So go ahead, Dave.
No, when you're talking about Green, they said that it wasn't just off the field stuff. They said he's a punk in the locker room as well. Even though the coaches will rave him and all those things, he was and on the field and off the field a problem. And what Schottenheimer is trying to build is character and guys that want to play football. And so I agree with Travis that I think Green still probably has more talent than this guy because Green was supposed to be a top 15 pick. Um, but but this guy is at least a top 25 pick. He was supposed to be a first rounder. And they say, when they talk about bend, how when scouts talk about defensive end bend, they said he is the most bendy of all the defensive ends that are in this draft. and he had 16 sacks last year.
16 and a half.
Yeah, yeah. And if he, I like that. And if he, they say that that always translates to the NFL.
Yeah.
And so I give this an A.
Mhm.
I want to give it an A plus, but I'm holding that one. But I this is one of my favorite picks. Now I wasn't like super excited. I'm like Peyton, I'm thinking I was so in the second round I was pissed we didn't get any of the running backs, and I was pissed we didn't get Burden. So that was salty. I was salty from all of that. So that's poor for this guy. But when I saw his talent, I'm like, are you kidding me? And it was kind of like Nealand. I didn't know who Nealand was, but when I looked, he was like one of the top defensive ends rated. And and they said that this guy, he might need to learn how to stop the run a little bit more, where Nealand is more, I can stop the run. And Nealand started figuring out how to pass rush better till he got hurt. But this guy, immediate pass rush skills. He can immediately go in and pass rush, pass rush, pass rush. And then the other thing that I liked cool, like somebody said, was how we wanted T Mac to be kind of like to help, kind of like be a Cadillac help for CeeDee Lamb. They said this guy will be a Cadillac help for Micah Parsons
Yeah.
in the pass rush, and that I'm super excited. I mean, I'm super sad that our offense looks like it's still going to be the same and sucky. But my dream is to have like doomsday defense, sack party, going crazy. I don't think we're there, but this guy sure helps that. And
Mhm.
so I am super excited. I'm giving him slightly above an A. I'm not giving him an A plus yet. So go.
Yeah. I love it. Number three, third round pick, Siobhan Reveal, Shavon Reveal. I don't know. Same situation. I love the pick. He was my favorite corner in the entire draft. Like he was my favorite corner. And the only reason, okay, I'll start off by this. It's an A plus for me. He is an A plus player. He was a steal. I love the player. As we've talked about it and we've talked about it in the chats, my issue is the fact that I worry it's going to affect Bland. It's going to affect that instead of Dallas being smart and being like, oh, we can have three amazing corners and Bland will move to the slot. They're like, oh, well, this guy will replace Bland and then we can let Bland walk now. That's what worries me about the pick and pisses me off because we all know how Dallas thinks. This is how they do crap. They constantly replace people in the draft, but then don't decide to keep the players they drafted who turned out. So, I'm worried and I'm salty about that. But minus that out with the hopes that Dallas plays it smart and we extend Bland and we have this amazing trio of corners. It's an A plus for sure.
I was listening to a guy this morning say that this guy, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, would have been top first round guaranteed.
Mhm.
That he's that good. Um, and I have the same concerns as Peyton of Dallas's history of what they do to players, but we all know that Bland played better in the slot, and so I would love to see Bland get back into the slot and this guy become a superstar. We needed another corner. I will give it an A only because Booker is my A plus.
Yeah, I'm giving he's an A plus for me, A plus plus.
Mhm.
The Brian Broaddus, the guy that the ex guy of the Cowboys, I like to listen to him a lot, and he has liked this guy from the get go. He said we need to pick him in the second round, but everybody we were also hyper focused on receiver and running back. We're like, you're on crack. you know, and we were that every Cowboys fan was like that. But he was a top 15 corner. When I remember seeing the first mock drafts that were out, he was like he was a Cowboys selection at 12. He was projected to go to Dallas at 12, and because of our need. And then obviously the injury, and then he just started dropping. He was never supposed to we were supposed to be lucky to get him at 44. That was lucky.
Yeah.
And then we get him at freaking third round. Not like this is the highest value pick. The guy from CBS was going nuts on this guy, saying, this is such a steal. And this guy loves football. They said he was a receiver as well as a corner, kind of like Diggs, very athletic. He can stop the run better than Diggs. And so to kind of some of the people talking about what you were talking about, Peyton, on replacing people, they don't think that that's going to happen. But a lot of people have been disappointed with Diggs' rehab, and they think Diggs has been lazy. And Diggs is the one that they think that Ravel will light a fire under Diggs. I don't think Bland has anything to worry about. It's Diggs that people are going, are you committed to this? Are you even into this? And so I think Ravel will put a fire under him. But this guy's a stud, and I'm so sick of our little cheese ball, lame-o backup corners like Wright and what's the guy, Muhammad, whatever. These guys are like not even close, and then we get a freaking stud.
Hmm.
So A plus plus plus.
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
mean, the pure talent someone was showing, the pure talent in our corner room is pretty insane when you look at the potential and the fact that you have Diggs, you have Bland, you have Shavill, Sealan Carson, and then I know he hasn't turned out yet, but you still traded for Kier Alim, that first round pick from Buffalo. Not saying he's going to be anything, but he was still a first round talent. So they're just saying that overall talent in our cornerback room is pretty amazing now with Reveal.
Yeah, that's nice.
Mhm.
Well, one pick took it from a question mark to a solid room,
Yeah,
right? So
Yeah.
great. Yep. We'll jump to Alfred Blue, our first fifth round pick, technically fourth if you want to think about it that way. Um, I like the pick. I love his speed. I love Alfred Blue. I mean, I won't say I love him. I like him. When on the day three guys, when I was looking at players, he was in my top five backs remaining. Was there other backs I would have loved before him? Of course. But I like him in the fifth round. Um, I don't love his character. I think he's a kind of a punk of a person. He's very, and I mean, I get it. Yeah, running backs got to be cocky. They have to be arrogant, like corners. But I don't know. He's very thinks of himself a lot, which is good, I guess. So I don't love the character, but I love his speed. I love his potential, and I think he could be our number one back this year. I don't think he's the future by any means, but for at least going forward this year, I think he could lead our running back room. And he has home. They said so he ran a 4.3 at the combine, but at his pro day, he ran a 4.25 to kind of, and they said his play represents that. So that kind of shows how fast he really is. So I will put it at a B, a B. I'll keep it just at a B.
I tried to watch a lot of Texas games because I liked watching Texas how they played. He was my favorite back to watch, but with that being said, that's what concerned me, is that he was splitting time constantly. Um, love his speed. I was watching again when I got home from church. I flipped on this. They were going over his speed, and they said what people don't understand is he's a home run hitter.
Hmm.
He could go to the house on every play,
Yeah.
which should scare other defenses to death. Um, do I think he's going to be? I mean, there's other backs. I would have rather had Samson. I would have rather, but or Deuce. He'll probably start anyways. But I really like him. I'm gonna give it a B also, only because it was the next tier of running backs down, um, and he's not as. I don't know if he can take the beating with his size. So
Yeah.
Um, you know, I had him pictured going in the sixth round. Um, but um, but people had him rated in the fourth round, and so I was gonna go low on this one, but as I look at the rest of the players, I think I'm gonna give him a B plus in the sense of the home run ability. And they said that he's faster than Tony Pollard. He'll be faster than him. That Randall that we used to have, that was, I think he stole underwear at the supermarket.
This
Um,
Randall.
yeah, he was pretty speedy. He was pretty fast as well.
It was.
And uh, Blue is faster than those guys.
Hmm.
And so he ran a 4.3 something with a torn groin muscle. And so he'll get in the 4.2s. So, and they said that he can block better than people have said.
Hmm.
Like he's not a great blocker, but he gets in the way and he tries.
Yeah.
And so, like Pollard struggled with that for a long time until his plays increased until he could start to block. So they said he gets in the way of the guy. And so hearing more stuff, like when I first heard it, I was like, I was wanting like the guy from Miami. And I when they first said Blue, I went, what? So I wasn't overly excited,
Yeah.
but with his home run, the speed was always there. And they said all of his little, they said that he fumbles a lot,
Hmm.
but they said they feel like he can be coached up in these areas. The speed is and he can catch.
Yeah.
He can catch. So those are those two things. I'm gonna give him a B plus.
Yeah. And to your point, they were saying, I heard someone say, if he didn't have the fumbling issues he had and didn't, have the injury running the combine and would have gotten the 4.2s, easy third round pick. Easy. But those fumbling issues and, dropping from the 4.2 to the 4.3, even though it's super impressive, dropped him obviously. Um, but yeah, we'll jump to our second, fifth round pick. Shamar James. Um, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Um, you know, I just don't understand why we traded up for him, I guess. I feel like we could have got him in the sixth. So that and there's a lot, there was other line. I don't know. I didn't really love any of the linebackers in this class in general, besides the first round ones. And obviously that Carson guy, but I don't know. I don't see the huge appeal. I know Eberfloss loves him, and I do like him. Like I'm not knocking on the guy, I like him. I liked him at Florida. He had 62 tackles. Like the dude can produce. Um, and he's fast. I mean, his combine didn't say that, but he looks fast on the field. But I'm just gonna give it a C minus. I'm not going to drop it to a D because I like it, but I just don't understand it. So, I mean, that's really all. I don't know a lot about him. So,
I'm like you guys. I thought again at this point in the draft, I'm in full panic mode that we don't have a defensive tackle, we don't have a receiver. And not that you want the draft to fall to you, but at this point, I was frustrated um, that Dallas wasn't trying to improve those. Uh, I'm going to give it a C also. Um, oh, maybe a C plus because and this was always the kiss of death. It's like when a girl says, "Can we be friends?" It's when they were like, he could be really good on special teams. I went, oh crap. Um, so I think he'll see the field. He will be useful. We have a defensive coordinator that puts. My only hope is that he's looking for specific traits in linebackers. So I have hope for him. I just I was in panic mode that we needed other things. So I'm going to give him a C for that.
All right, I give him a C plus. Now, when we first picked him, I'm like, "Who the freak is this?" And I was pissed. And like Travis was texting, "What about Paul?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that guy's supposed to be good." And there were other recognizable linebackers, and I'm like, "What the?" But they said that they went in the combine or whatever that they fell in love with this guy, and they said what he can immediately do is he can rush the quarterback.
Mhm.
He can blitz on blitzes. They said you could put him in on a blitz package, and he can immediately rush the quarterback. And so they said now he might get lost in other facets of the game of reading certain things, and so he'll have to get coached up. But they said that is his strength. And so like, and who was the guy that we picked up? Was it last year or 2 years ago when we moved up in the fifth? Scott, that corner
Oh,
that
Eric
never
Scott.
Eric Scott. And I thought, oh, is this another Eric Scott? We jump up and we don't know who the freak this is. And but I give him a C plus because of that and just his pass rush ability. Oh, and then the other reason I was going to tell you that I heard that the reason why they selected him then and had to trade up was they were at how the draft trends like
Yeah.
they were trending people were picking up linebackers and they wanted to get their guy.
Yeah. I mean, I think 2 picks later that Chris Paul guy was literally taken. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. Um, we'll move on to um, yep, our 6th round pick, Johnny Cornelius. Okay. I love this pick. I was high on Cornelius the entire draft. I don't know why. I love his size. I love the way he plays. He just looks athletic. Um, so and I was expecting him to go more 4th round, to be honest. Um, like when I was at work and I was watching and I saw Johnny, like I jumped up, I was like, yeah, like because I was excited. Like I didn't expect to. One, I never expect Dallas to get the players I actually like. And then two, to get him in the 6th round, I was just really pumped about that. I think he'll be really good. I don't think he's a stupid Walt Zecco or one of those crappy picks. I mean, I think he's a guy who can, I won't say start. I mean, I think there's a chance he needs a lot of development. Um, but he has all the tools to be great. So maybe this could be a future replacement for Steele in that sense. Um, but I really love the pick for the value, and I think what he can become. Uh, I'll give it a B minus. Um, I won't get too excited, but I like that pick.
Um, I always watch Oregon players. I was a fan of his. I worry that he will. It doesn't seem like Dallas, as good as Dallas' record of drafting offensive linemen early, they're just as bad as taking an offensive lineman in the late rounds. I don't think, unless he's a free agent like Steele, they tend to not, for some reason, it just doesn't send. I don't know. So with that being said, I'm gonna give it a B minus, just because he's a late round pick. But I was excited to see him, and once again, I will re bring it up. I did not get my defensive tackle yet.
I didn't know who this guy was. By looking at him, I like him, and then I was going off of your reactions. I think that he's a transfer from Rhode Island,
Mhm.
and but he's been a starter, and they said with Oregon he didn't allow very many sacks, and so obviously playing for Oregon, he's played against higher rated teams. So I'm kind of going to go C plus, kind of an undecided grade. Nothing to dog him. I just don't know who he is.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll jump down just so everyone knows we have about 5 minutes. No need to rush it, but we're in the seventh
Okay.
round anyways. Um, Jay Toia, whatever his name is. A plus plus plus. My favorite pick of the whole draft. I love this pick so much. Um, I thought he was already off the board. When I saw his name, I was shocked. I didn't realize he was still there. I mean, I think you sent it was you, David, maybe who sent it. They had him as the fourth best D tackle.
Yeah.
I thought, I thought he would either early day three or he was already gone on day two. I did not know he was still there. So I flipped out when they said his name because all I wanted was a big freaking D tackle. And this dude, he's 342 to be technical, round up 350. Um, no, I love the pick. So the dude is a beast. Rugby background. You can tell by the way he moves. There's plays if you watch his highlights, he'll just move linemen like they're nothing. It's awesome. I listened to his after drafts thing and it talked about how, he's a non-selfish guy and he wants to help the team win. I'm like, oh, imagine a one tech actually saying that. Maisie, freaking piece of crap. Um, I love him. I think he will take the starting spot and he's going to be amazing. I love him. So yeah, A plus plus.
I am gonna give him an A also for where we got him. Um, number two, I was excited that we got a defensive tackle. Finally, not in the seventh round. But they say that his strength level, I was watching some stuff on him, and they said he is so powerful and so strong that I think it will light a fire under Maisie, and we may be able to get something out of that pick. As much as people can say they hate him and don't want him to be successful, for for our sake, we need him to be successful. We have to have him be successful. So I'm a super big fan. I think he will take the starting position. He will make Osa better. And I think Macy will start producing as a backup player and never be the guy. But I say that only because he's getting an A from me because not only is he a good player, he's going to make the player behind him better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him a B plus because I don't know who the heck he is, and just because when we are going through the draft, they went through all the guys from Texas, the guy Darius Alexander. He was never on that list, and so I was like, why wouldn't he be on these lists
Yeah.
that we've talked about for 3 months? And so obviously he's a little raw. And obviously being a seventh round pick, I have a little bit of distrust. And so but I'm going off of you guys. I'm hoping and then when I heard that CBS guy go, send a thing saying he was rated my fourth best, I was like, wow, because I was like, I've never heard of him. And so I'm going a high B plus for me for a seventh round pick because I don't know him,
Mhm.
and I am hoping for the best. So I'm excited. like you guys, that it's not like a blob guy. And so, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I love it. We have 2 minutes. I don't think anyone has anything super special to say about him, but we'll give our grades for these next two. Um,
Okay.
Phil Maffa, I like the pick. Excited about the pick. I'll give it a B minus. Go ahead, Dad.
I'm going to give it a C plus. He has size. He doesn't have speed. I'm worried about that, so I'm going to give it a C plus.
I'm gonna go B minus as well. He's a big guy. I was so excited that Dallas double dipped.
Yeah.
I wanted them to do that so badly. He's kind of a thunder and lightning
Mm,
with blue, and he played for Clemson, so he played big schools. So I'm gonna give him a B minus. Hope for the best.
yeah. Tommy, I'm not even gonna say the last name. I I hated the pick at first. Every year I have a pick that I just hate. I thought this was going to be the pick. Turns out not after I watched some stuff. He's extremely undersized. He's only 305, but after I watched some things, I do like him. I like his energy. So, C. I'll just give it a C.
I'm going to give it a C. Also, I just didn't see. I tried to find things on him, and I couldn't find a whole lot, but I'm going to give him a C.
I'll go C minus. He wasn't on a lot of people's radar. I am hearing good things. He gets in the way. I'm going C minus.